Hello everyone, welcome back to OpenLine. Tim Takis is here taking your calls. We kind of set things up at the top, talking about elder law, planning for a loved one who may be going into a nursing home, whatever question you may have. Let's just go straight to the phones here. Dina. Whoops. Hello, Dina.
Hi, Ben. I've got two questions for Tim. The first one is, if you're planning on establishing a trust for other reasons, can you put a provision in the trust if you're not a property, if you don't own, like I'm renting right now, and if I were to say, if I purchase a home, I want that as part of the trust, or you have to actually amend it at such time that you become a property owner. Second question is, my father was part of a family business, and when the business kind of became absorbed in another, anyway, when he retired, basically, he owned, I think, 25% of the business, and he split that between my sister and I. So I now own 12% or a little more than that of what is essentially now, I think it's some land and a building maybe that's rented. I don't know, because I'm just a business in another state, and I just basically collect the checks, and it's a pretty nice arrangement. And I've been looking at the contract that an attorney drew up to establish all of this, and I'm wondering if I can describe it generally, if you're familiar with it, and if you can answer my question with regard to it, which is, as I understand it, the partnership was to last 50 years from when the contract was drawn up, which I think was like 1983. Mm-hmm. And as I read it, and I'm not sure that I understand it completely, if at any time before that or at that time they dissolve it, then everybody gets in cash what it's worth at that time. Yes. So what I'm wanting to know about all of that is if that gives you enough information to whether you have an understanding that's better than mine of what that is, and if that in fact is the case, how would I put that money in the trust or that percentage of ownership?
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay, those are good questions. Yeah,
those are good questions.
A lot of interesting stuff for us to work with. Okay, for one is, Dina says that she, is want to set up a trust, and and just as again one of those like scene setters here. Mm-hmm. What is a trust? And a trust is a legal way of owning property where a person who is called the grantor or the trustor, I'll call this person the grantor, transfers money or property or some asset to a trustee to hold for the benefit of somebody. Okay, so I give you. I'm looking for something. So I give you. I'm going to pull out my pen and give it to you, and you're holding that for the benefit of somebody else. So I'm the grantor, you're the trustee, and you're holding it maybe for somebody else. Whether that's cash or. So Dina's going, okay, I don't own a house, but I may own a house someday. If I create a trust, should I have provisions in there that says, well, if I own a house, then this is what I want to do? And in my view, that's always a good idea. One of the things that I always say to people, that they come into my office and we talk about, their planning. My job is to walk around all day going, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And so she asked a good question. She's going, well, if I want to set up a trust, and so what can I put in it that I own? And meaning put in it or title to it.
Right.
And are there any restrictions on that, or can I amend it? Now, it can be amended if it's the right kind of trust to be amended, because there are some trusts that can't be or not. Okay, so hopefully that helps answer that question. All right, the second question she has is about her partnership.
Right.
That after 50 years it terminates. The first thing that I think of is that, does she want it to terminate after 50 years? If she doesn't, now's the time, I guess, to go to the partners and say, does anybody else are concerned that maybe that after 50 years we got this great business going on and then suddenly we're going to have to terminate this business? Or can we come up with another agreement that says that there's no term limited date?
Right.
The second question that she asked is, well, can she put her partnership interest in the trust? Well, yes, she can, because it is a property interest, which is subject to being put into a trust. Now, before she does that, though, she would want to look at the partnership agreement to see if there are any restrictions or limitations,
Right.
because the trust, the partnership agreement might have something that says, well, a trust can't own, a partnership interest. I mean, that could be an agreement that the partners have or that she would be bound by. And so, that's just one of those things that, short of getting too far afield or belaboring the answer,
Right.
she would want to make sure that, it would not create a problem, if she decided that she wanted to do that.
Could she just sell it outright?
Well, that would also be something that would be subject to the partnership agreement.
Yeah, it depends
because a
on
lot
the
of partnership agreements says that you have to sell out to the partners first.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give them a right of first refusal or something. So, those are good lawyer questions, and so
You just got to get that and take it. But it could be part of a trust.
it could
and
be
that's,
part of the trust. And oftentimes that's just going back to the other partners and saying, is there any problems with this?
Mm-hmm.
And they might say yes or they might say no, but mostly it's about not only ownership but who's controlling the trust. In other words, who's making decisions for the partner.
All right. Dina, I hope that helped you. I'm going to go on to David now. Hello, David.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Enjoy the show, gentlemen. It's very good, like the morning and the evening version. I've seen the attorney before and talked to him once before about my mother's TV problem with Nick one morning, the charter company.
Oh, on Morning Line. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Another problem now. She's 92 years old. She is drawing her Social Security, which is about $700 a month. They cut her SSI out because she gives some money to the funeral home on her burial. Well, they sent in some kind of wrong paper, and they cut her SSI out, and she's having to live on that $700. Thank God she lives in the housing, and they won't allow an antenna or anything like that. But, anyway, her medicine, one stomach medicine's over $300. Protonics, which was made by I don't know what the company is, but they sold out, and they was helping, even giving her some medicine, but they cut that out. And now she's thinking that maybe it's time for her to move on to the rest home and get out of but she has no property, no anything. But the Notch baby stuff is why she draws a 700, where they count back 30 years on your income instead of only 10 with somebody normal. But over the year that you're born in, she's being treated like a dog, and hope I can get some help, some numbers to call Senator or somebody, something. Thank you guys, and I'll listen to your responses. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now, do you understand?
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't understand either.
I'm sorry, too.
All right, he said something about going back 30 years and 10 years.
Right.
So there's a clawback. It sounds like there are a few issues going. He may not like the nursing home where his mother is.
Yeah.
Then he's concerned about the cost. Maybe there's the clawback where they can go back 10 years.
Yeah.
I've never heard of 30 years.
Yeah, and here's what I'm thinking is that, for one, he said that she's on SSI.
Okay.
SSI, they pay $700 a month, and that she is living in a subsidized housing, like a lot of our older clients who, $700 isn't going to get you anything, but for people that's all they have, the $700 a month, that's like the very floor of what we, an older, frankly, younger disabled people that never worked. And maybe his mother, didn't have anything either. But the whole point is that there's $700 a month, and she's got subsidized housing, and that's what's covering the cost of her care.
Okay.
All right. Now, apparently, she's not doing well, or she doesn't. Maybe she needs to move on because she can't be taken care of. That's the main thing. Is that, does she need nursing home care? And you talked about going to the rest home. That sounds like maybe the euphemism for nursing home care.
Right.
Unfortunately, the person's like his mom that, there's no in-between station where, okay, she goes from subsidized, could she go to assisted living? Well, no, because who's going to pay for it? It's very unusual to find an assisted living that would accept $700 a month. I don't know of any.
Right.
It might also be, maybe there's something out there. But if she needed nursing home care, then she would qualify for it because she has no money.
She has no money, so Medicaid pays for it.
Medicaid pays for it.
But she has to qualify.
Yeah, there's no repayment requirement for SSI.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
we talked on the top of the program about recoupment, how Medicaid can recoup. The SSI program, Supplemental Security Income, the $700 a month that they pay out, they do not recoup. There's no right to recoup there. It's just the state Medicaid programs that have a right to recoup. So hopefully that's some help. That
David, yeah, I hope that helped. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah,
Thank you for watching Morning Line and Open Line.
I guess if we didn't get it, he can call.
Yeah, call back if we didn't get it. But thank you for calling in. All right, if you're on the line, hold on. Mary, others, hold on. If you want to call in, there's the number at the bottom, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.